We'll call it to order. Can I start with a roll call?
Barbara Barossa.
James Meyer.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond. And Tara is not here, so in her absence, we have an alternate. So we're assigning Mary to serve for this evening until Tara returns. So you'll have an opportunity to vote on all issues this evening. So can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. My apologies for the board being in the middle there, but I believe we might have an overhead, and if people have boards, we'll need that. So just quick, there's a couple notes I need to go over. There is item number 3 on the agenda. We do have a request to adjourn it. That's the vet hospital. We will open it and acknowledge that we have gotten some comments, but otherwise they are in the midst of pursuing an application in the town of Wappingers. So, and then we are not going to have or open any discussion on numbers 8, 9, and 11. 2 of those requested an adjournment, and one of them actually has pulled his application. So at the appropriate time, we'll do a refund for the one, but otherwise we will have no discussion on any of those. First on our, for those of you who are new to our board, the first items on our agenda are decisions. These are issues and applications that the board's already heard, we've already had public comment on, and the board, needs to just make a decision one way or another based on what was requested. Then we have some adjourned public hearings and some public hearings that will be the first opportunity for you, if you got a letter as a neighbor, to be able to offer us any comments that you might have, because we recognize you as neighbors are going to know the sites better than we will. And then last on the agenda is our reviews. Those are items that we're seeing either for the first time or maybe for a repeat visit, but there are issues that we just want to understand the applications before we put them out for public comments. So with that being said, we do have, well, let me just say, this is a Wednesday evening. I don't believe we have any other Wednesday evening meetings for the rest of the year. So our next meeting, it will be Tuesday, October 13th, and then Tuesday, November 10th. We do have one set of minutes, which, Lisa, again, I want to compliment you. They were very, very well done. I found very few things that needed changes. There's one name, though, that of somebody who represented one of the applications. We need to get that name in there.
It had stars.
Yes, it had stars. Lisa just put it as Mr. 5 or 6 stars in there. So we do have to, Pam, somehow get that name to. So with that amendment, I'll offer a motion to approve the minutes of our August 11th meeting as amended.
Second.
And recognizing we're going to further amend it with that name. Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, good, so that's done. All right, so let's move right on to our agenda. We have item number 1, Appeal 3743, Rhinebeck Realty LLC. Rhinebeck Realty LLC, Mavis Tire Supply LLC is requesting an interpretation of the hours of operation at their location at 1030 Route 82, Hopewell Junction, the former Ben's Auto Site, pursuant to local law number 2 of 1997. Would somebody like to offer the decision?
Organized yet. Rhinebeck Realty.
Yeah, right.
Okay, in reference to Appeal 3743 by the applicant Rhinebeck Realty LLC, doing business as Mavis Tire Supply LLC, located at 1030 Route 82, Hopewell Junction. The resolution offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Whereas the applicant has applied for an interpretation of the hours of operation at their location at 1030 Route 82, Hopewell Junction, pursuant to local law number 2 of 1997. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under SEQA and no further action is required. And whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 29, 2015. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 11, 2015. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that, quote, requesting Sunday hours of operation between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., close quote. Since the application involves the enactment interpretation of town local law number 2 of 1997, entitled, quote, "a local law allowing automobile service facilities by zoning board special permit in the B1 zoned area on Route 82 north of Beekman Road and defining, quote, automobile service facilities, close quote, open quote, gasoline filling stations, close quote, motor vehicle repair facilities, close quote, and open quote, garages, close quote, a brief history is in order. The purpose of local law number 2 was to allow, by special permit issued by the Zoning Board of Appeals, limited, quote, automobile service facilities in the B1 zoned area located along Route 82 north of its intersection with Beekman Road, and set forth standards on which such special permits are to be issued, close quote. Two features of the local law number 2 are readily apparent to the board. One, section 67-45.2, paren 1, close paren, N, close paren, provides as follows. N, the zoning board shall be specifically empowered to impose additional requirements to promote compatibility with residential uses nearby and to minimize noise and traffic circulation concerns. 2, there is no specific provision in local law number 2 for the establishment of days and hours of operation for the then newly regulated automobile service facilities and newly enacted special permits to be issued by the ZBA. The code is silent on mandating such condition. On July 8, 1997, Mr. Berardino Porcaro, president of Benmar Realty, requested a special permit for an automobile service facility in a B1 zone on this site, pursuant to local law number 2 of 1997. The following was discussed in the record minutes from the ZBA meeting held on July 8, 1997. Mr. Porcaro said he would like to locate his new auto repair shop at this proposed location. His plans show 3 bays on the side and 2 bays in the rear. Mr. Porcaro said it would be a gambrel-style barn building with landscaping in the front. He said the rear of the building is wooded.
Rear of the property.
The rear of the property is wooded. Mr. Porcaro said he is also going before the planning board, and this repair shop will be based on planning board approval. Mr. Porcaro said he needs a special permit for this facility in a B1 zone. Mr. Tomkovich said, according to the local law, bays must not be facing a residential neighborhood. Mr. Porcaro agreed to redesign his shop with all bay doors on one side of the building, not facing the residential neighborhood. Mr. Tomkovich asked if anyone was present to speak for or against this appeal. Mr. Thomas Antonucci, who resides across the street, inquired as to what local law 2 was. Mr. Tomkovich explained the law, and Mr. Antonucci asked if there would be gas sold at the facility. Mr. Porcaro said no, he will only repair autos. He said his hours of operation will be 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. through 3 p.m. on Saturdays. There will be no business on Sunday. All tanks, heating waste oil, will be above ground. Mrs. Bass, adjacent property owner to the west, asked about screening, and Mr. Porcaro said there would be a fence. Mr. Yox, property owner to the rear, also asked about screening, and Mr. Porcaro said he intended to leave as much of the woods as he can. No one else spoke for or against this appeal. Motion made by Catherine Lazar, seconded by John Paraskiva to close the public meeting. Voted and carried. Motion made by Catherine Lazar, seconded by John Paraskiva to grant appeal 2327 to Bernardino Porcaro, president of Benmar Realty, who is requesting a special permit for an automobile service facility in a B1 zone at 746 Route 82, Hopewell Junction, pursuant to local law number 2 of 1997. Therefore, although the ZBA's 1997 special permit to Benmar Realty did not mandate a provision for the establishment of days and hours of operation in 1997, same was clearly agreed to by the then applicant and the ZBA, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., no Sunday hours. In addition, Section 67-45.21N provides, the zoning board shall be specifically empowered to impose additional requirements to promote compatibility with residential uses nearby and to minimize noise and traffic circulation concerns. Here, the 1997 ZBA promoted compatibility with residential uses nearby and minimized noise and traffic circulation concerns by agreement with the applicant. In order to further underscore this board's authority to impose additional requirements to promote compatibility with residential uses nearby and to minimize noise and traffic circulation concerns, this board, in 2015, inquired extensively concerning noise issues by having the applicant perform a sound report with new and old air guns, with bay doors open and closed, with testing at different locations on the property, with testing at 3 times during a busy Friday, etc. The average noise level was approximately 17% less than the town code limits. As a result, this board finds as follows. 1. Although local law number 2 does not mandate the establishment of days and hours of operation, same were agreed to by the 1997 applicant, Benmar Realty, and the town, and exists under the board's broad powers under section 67-45.21N. See above. It should be noted that this board requested and received neighborhood and community comment and a petition on the extra Saturday hours and Sunday hours. The majority of the neighborhood comments were opposed to the Sunday hours, and the community comments were concerned about the possible precedent this would set for any future special permit application under local law number 2 of 1997. This is a type 2 action under SEQA consisting of the interpretation of an existing code or rule. No further compliance is required. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of this resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara? Sorry, she's not here. Barbara?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. All right, so that decision is finished. All right, item number 2, Appeal 3747 Low, Larry Low, 128 Blue Hill Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a special permit for an in-home office for a used car broker pursuant to Section 194-194.90 of the zoning ordinance.
I'll do this. This is appeal number 3747. Applicant is Larry Lowe, requesting a special permit for an in-home office car broker pursuant to section 194-90 of the zoning ordinance. Its location is 128 Blue Hill Road, Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Ahsan, whereas the applicant has applied for a special permit for an in-home office car broker pursuant to section 194-90 of the zoning ordinance, whereas this action is a type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Duchess News on July 29, 2015, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 11, 2015, and whereas Mr. Lowe stated in his application to the ZBA, open quote, I am asking for an in-home office permit. I act as a used car broker. Customers call me in need of a car or truck. They tell me the amount of money they have and what type of car they need that's needed. I look for that type of car online at auction or private sale. Once the car is found, I send pictures to my customers, and after they see the pictures, my customers give me the okay to purchase the car. After purchase, I have repair done if needed. I have the car New York State inspection done. Then I deliver the car to my customer with all the necessary paperwork to register. Close quote. There was a review held on this matter on July 14, 2015, and at the review, a host of matters were discussed with the applicant concerning the use, operation, and status of the applicant's property. The board learned, among other things, 1, the applicant is a used car broker. 2, the applicant has stopped doing minor repairs on the car on the applicant's property. 3, the applicant was advised he could only have one unregistered vehicle at his residence. He also said he was in compliance with this rule. 4, the applicant said that most of the cars in his business did not come to his home. In addition, although he is a New York State car inspector, He brings his car to Mavis and lets Mavis do the inspections. 5. Mr. Lowe said that he didn't have any employees or anyone who would need to come to his home and park in his driveway. 6. The applicant stated that he was contemplating constructing a garage to contain his various equipment on the property, which is now located in multiple sheds on the property for plows, lawnmowers, and quads, etc. 7. The board advised the applicant that before any approvals were granted by the board, that any violation would have to be resolved, the multiple sheds, etc. A public hearing was held on August 11, 2015. Additional information about the applicant's property and business was adduced. 1. A number of neighbors spoke strongly in opposition to applicant's application for a special permit. 2. Mr. Lowe underscored that he does not do any repairs on his property and wants to hang a sign for the business proposed. He denied working on a car in a video given to the ZBA in late July 2015. He again said he no longer would do auto repairs on his residential property. 3. The board reiterated its concern that with the multiple sheds, some covered by canvases, in the rear yard along with several vehicles. 4. The neighbors argued by counsel that Section 194-90 contemplated open quotes, accessory professional offices, close quotes, and not retail sales, see Section 194-90C. Also, the neighbors argued granting the special permit in question would produce an undesirable change in the neighborhood. A multi-page petition by the neighbors in opposition to the application was filed with the board. 5. Finally, neighbors' concern included traffic going in and out of the Lowe's house, cars that have sat out in the front of the property with a open quote, for sale, close quote. Risk of cars, fluids going into the groundwater, visitors, employees, repairs, and signage, and use of quads on the property. With respect to Section 194-90, accessory professional offices, the code provides as follows. In any district where permitted by the Zoning Board of Appeals may grant a special permit for professional offices of a physician, attorney at law, dentist, engineer, architect, teacher, artist, musician, and other members of the recognized profession or trade or are permitted in residential districts when conducted by the resident only, provided that the board finds that the application meets all the general condition of Article 9 and further meets all the applicable conditions set forth in this section. A. Number of employees. Not more than 2 non-resident employees or 1 non-resident employees and 1 associate shall be permitted in any dwelling at any one time. B. External evidence. There shall be no external evidence of such use except an announcement of professional sign not over 2 square feet in area. All new construction and interior alterations will result in an appropriate visual composition which will be in harmony with the character of the residential district, taking into consideration the outside dimensions of the front facade and the appearance thereof, the visual relationships between property in question and existing residential structures, the character of the residential district, architectural style, heights and size of buildings, location and arrangements of buildings, setbacks, materials, line, color, and detail. C. Retail sales. This section shall not authorize any form of retail sales as part of a professional office. A review of the applicant's use of the property as a used car broker in relation to these provisions of Section 194-90 clearly revealed the special permit cannot be granted to this applicant for the following reason, inter alia. 1. The recognized profession or trade, here used car broker, is not permitted in residential districts when conducted by the resident only. 2. B. External evidence. There shall be no external evidence of such use except an announcement or professional sign not over 2 square feet in area. 3. C. Retail sales. This section shall not authorize any form of retail sales as part of a professional office. Here the applicant's recognized trade, used car broker, is a retail sale at its core. That is a sale of used cars. Therefore, a used car broker does not meet the threshold requirements of Section 194-90 to obtain a special permit for an accessory professional office. Therefore, for all the foregoing reasons, this application is hereby denied. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized A member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, completed. All right, item number 3, we're now on our adjourned public hearings. So item number 3 is Appeal 3728 Earth Angels Veterinary Hospital. Dr. Alexander Barrientos and Robert Kodakovi of Veterinary Wellness PC, doing business as Earth Angels Veterinary Hospital, are requesting a use variance in order to operate a veterinary hospital at 1 Four Corners Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, which is in an R1 zone.
Motion to have the public hearing, adjourn public hearing.
To reconvene the public hearing. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, again, there is no new information from the applicant. They are before the town of Wappingers, trying to get another site in that town approved. But we did receive a number of emails, so I just want to acknowledge them, and so that if anybody else wants to read them and review the file, they're welcome to come and look at the file and review them. So we received an email on Tuesday, September 8th from Linda, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but Paiva, 224 Buttonwood Way. We received one on September 6th, Jacqueline Endlich, 11 Mulberry Place. We received an email on Monday, September 7th, and by the way, these emails are all relatively the same, all opposed. And so on September 7th, we received one from Maria Kirshen, who does not give an address. We received one on September 4th from Rachel L. Etkin. We received one on Friday, September 4th from Christy Clem. Again, I don't see an address on this one. We received one on Thursday, September 3rd from Rachel Howard. We received one on Thursday, September 3rd from Megan Garver, 35 Sassafras Circle. And we received one on Thursday, September 3rd from Andrea McKenna, 143 Phillips Road. All right, so again, they will all be in the file if anyone is interested in reviewing them, but there is no additional information at this time. So are there any comments or questions from board members?
Not at this time.
Does anyone from the public wish to offer any comment at this time, knowing that there's no new information and the applicant is pursuing another site?
My question was that, we as a board have received all these emails. Should we also let the applicants know that these emails have been received and are part of the record?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So Pam, if you don't mind, if you could advise the applicant that we have received all of these emails, and, it's...
That they're available for review in the file.
Right.
I don't think we have to send all of the emails.
Right, I agree. Okay, so that's a good idea. So seeing nobody interested, is it appropriate for 1 month at this point or 2 months to adjourn it? He requested one, then let's, all right, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Anybody?
I asked.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay, yeah, we'll adjourn this, make a motion to adjourn it for 1 month.
The second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So item number 3 is appeal, sorry, that we just did that one. Item number 4 is Appeal 3746, Gasland Holding Corp. Gasland Holding Corp., 2612 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a special permit for an expansion of a non-conforming use in order to build a 1,030 square foot addition onto an existing residential structure, which is located in a B1 zone pursuant to Section 194-123A of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to reconvene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Margaret McManus. I work for the Chase & Companies. We represent Gasland Holdings. I understand there were several questions at the last public hearing, and we completed a pretty comprehensive response to those comments. I also want to note that most of the comments were not about the actual variance, and that the 2 people who did speak were not in opposition of the expansion of the residential use.
Okay, again, because this is a public hearing and we have people who are not in attendance but watching, I would ask you to go through
Sure.
the issues. I know you spell out one after another, so, but everybody would appreciate you taking a couple minutes and going through them.
There was an email received from Lori Adams, who lives at 15 Hoosier Mountain Road, who had several comments. The first comment is really just a statement that her understanding is that it was a request for a residential addition to a residential home, which is a correct statement. She had concerns about the environment and that the character of the area not be disturbed. This is a variance is sought for a 512 square foot footprint addition, which is the 1,000 square feet because it's a two-story addition to an existing residential structure, has very little potential for a negative impact on the environment as there is already an existing residence in the area. It is the residence. By eliminating the existing porch and driveway in the back of the building and relocating the concrete walkway, there is a net decrease in impervious area on the site, and the interior of the structure will be renovated so that the bedroom count remains the same.
Okay. You don't necessarily need to identify who the comment came from.
Okay.
Take us through what the issues were. Like the second one is the high water table. Did I skip over one?
I think you skipped over a page.
Yeah, I skipped over a page, sorry.
Okay. She notes that
The
that there
Superfund
is
area, right.
groundwater contamination in the area, and we noted that the expansion of the existing residential use will have no additional impact on the groundwater.
But did you do any research at all as to how far the contamination goes? Does the contamination, the salt contamination affect
The
this
salt
property?
contamination is from the New York State DOT site.
We all understand that, yes.
The plume is and goes beyond our site, I believe, because
So this site is actually included in that? There is a salt issue at this property?
there's a salt issue at the animal hospital across the street, so I would assume that there is a salt
Okay.
issue.
We're just asking for
Yep.
for
There is.
clarification, and we want it on the record, so.
Yes, there is. She also states that it's extremely important for her to preserve the historical character of the neighborhood and not expand any of the commercial structures. We are not proposing to expand any of the commercial structures. She also notes about the 2012 update to the floodplains in the area. The floodplain is in relation to the stream. The applicant, so her comment is about the floodplain. We are aware of the 2012 change to the floodplain, which actually puts most of this parcel within the floodplain. The reason we are seeking the variance, the reason we're seeking the variance is because of the use, but we also need to obtain a floodway permit, which is issued by the building department. So
Floodplain development permit.
floodplain development permit. We will be raising the existing structure, so it will be, the first floor elevation will be 2 feet above the floodplain elevation, and the addition will also be set 2 feet above the floodplain elevation. She also states that she does not object to the special permit if it is for a residential addition, which is what we're seeking, is an addition to the residential use. So then the next comment is about the water table, that the water table is high in the area and there is flooding in the area.
Right.
Again, we are aware of the change to the floodplain. It should be noted that in 2012, the revisions to the floodplain are not necessarily due to development of the area, which was a comment, but really is based on the increase in the intensity and frequency of storms. Also because the DEC now has many more records. They actually update the storms more frequently. We download that data all the time. Another comment about the salt contamination in the groundwater. We do not feel that our variance will have any impact on the salt in the groundwater.
Okay.
And there was also a comment that did not object to single-family addition, which is what we're seeking. Okay, then there were comments about whether or not the residential lot was incorporated into the commercial lot in order for the commercial lot to meet required coverage. So I did some extensive research into the background of the property. And Mr. Hyatt bought parcels, 3 parcels, in one being the residential parcel, in 1986. And by deed, those 3 parcels were combined. There was also an additional parcel, which is basically where the canopy is today, and that was owned by his wife. So 11 years later, when the Hyatts wanted to put an expansion on the back of that service station, they combined the small commercial lot and then those 3 parcels, and they made one large parcel. And they received a variance for a front yard setback to the commercial property from Route 52 because there's a 100-foot required setback, and it was reduced. The lot area coverage is, we meet all the lot area coverage existing.
You do now, but you did need this second lot to meet the floor area ratio coverage that was required at the time. I don't think you had it with just the one lot, right?
Well, the front,
Wasn't that part of their
it
planning
was
board?
in 1998. The reason, well, they had to combine them. I don't know if, I don't think, well, they did not. It was an existing non-conforming lot, obviously. If they were going to make any changes to it, they would not have met any zoning ordinances because the front lot was very small.
Right, and so to get the appropriate floor area ratio, they needed to combine lots, which is the comment that the
No, the
neighbor
comment was that the
raised.
residential lot was added. The comment was that the residential lot was added, but the residential lot was actually a part of the whole large parcel from 11 years before the zoning variance was granted.
Again, maybe I'm confused now. The question is, regardless, does that portion which contains the residence, is the land on which that sits, is that land necessary in order for the commercial buildings to exist as they were approved?
The
In other
answer,
words-
the answer is going to be no, believe it or not. It was required to meet, without the extra lots, they wouldn't have had the appropriate area for the coverage that they have. But with the lots, they far are underneath what's required.
That's my
Yeah.
expected
So they
answer to
don't
be.
need the area that this addition's going to be on to meet, they won't exceed the
They won't,
coverage
we
area.
won't exceed, we didn't exceed, we don't exceed, we won't
Right,
exceed.
they're okay.
That's what I'm trying to get you to say.
And they're
Including
significant-
taking out
they're
all of the
significantly under at
wetlands
this
and-
point, because that lot is so large. They're actually probably less than half of what's allowed, so.
Yeah.
Yes, but there is that formula where you have to take out all that
Right.
lot area, so.
Yeah,
So they are okay.
I just wanted to make sure we got that answer.
We had that analysis done.
Yeah.
But again, it was a good comment to be raised. It was appropriate for this
That
board
was-
to review
yeah.
that. So the answer is, we're okay.
So the variance that was granted was for a front yard setback for the commercial property. That we need to continue, and there's no change to that.
Right. Okay.
Also, there was question about the address on the home, and the address on the home is actually 4 Hoosier Mountain Road. The application was for 2612 Route 52 because that's the parcel mailing address.
Right.
Also, there was a note about the stream that it bisects the parcel.
Right.
Yep, that's the stream that causes the floodplain is tributary to the Fishkill Creek.
And there's no new development?
No,
It's
we are
not near
not.
the stream. It's,
Stream
yeah, it's,
or?
right. So nothing's any closer than it exists right now.
No,
Perhaps this is just another way of getting the same answer, but this does not require an expansion of the septic drainage system or anything like that?
No, no, because it's a four-bedroom house, it will continue to be a four-bedroom house, just each of the rooms will get expanded and larger, more modern.
Thank you.
All right, so that's, thank you for taking us through that, so that's fine. All right, so are there any additional comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
No? Okay, so is there, like, again, this is a reconvene, we did open it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
thank
open.
you. I
We
didn't write
did
it
open
down.
it. I'm not-
I usually write that down, so I missed that. All right, so is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against Gasland Holdings requesting a special permit for an expansion of a non-conforming use in order to build a 1,030 square foot addition on an existing residential structure? Seeing none, do we have a motion to close the public?
You want to do a close and reserve, or do you want to go ahead with it?
Okay, let's close and reserve.
Okay, so I make a motion to close and reserve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll try to issue a decision at our next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Okay? Don't forget you have a board up on the thing there. All right, item number 5, Appeal 3740 Picard, Michael Todd, representing Joseph Picard, 53 Autumn Chase Drive. Hopewell Junction is requesting a 5-foot sideline variance for an existing pool, a 15-foot sideline variance for an existing pool equipment, and a 5-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 16-foot shed, for which a temporary certificate of compliance has been issued pursuant to sections 194-95 and 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Hello.
All right, we saw this actually, we did a review 2 months ago, and at the time, we did not have a survey, and we were a little concerned about how close, in fact, the pool equipment was, that it was as was being represented in the application. And there was a little bit of concern about the location of the actual pool. The survey came in, and it was determined that the pool was closer, did not meet the setback requirements.
Right.
And upon further review, we looked at the building permit, and the location of the pool is frankly not anywhere near where it was supposed to be in accordance with the building permit. So I think if you don't mind, if you could explain what the circumstances that led to the relocation of the pool?
Well, basically what happened was, it used to be our contention that if the pool was not going to be within the setbacks of the property, we would move it. And that's really how, it sounds ridiculous, but that's, if you move the pool 5 foot because you hit rock or something that was going to not make it easy to build it, we would move it. We would move it 10 feet, and that's how things always worked until one of my designers moved the pool into the setback.
Okay, but again, there was a reason that they moved it. Could you
Well, there
explain?
was an addition going on at the house that there was a wing wall coming out of the house that sort of, we were doing all the landscape at the same time, so it was affecting how the patio was going to fit and everything else. So we moved the pool. I moved the pool. I signed off on it. I had the wrong property lines. And so measuring off of what we thought were the property lines and not the actual survey, we put the pool in the wrong place.
All right, the dilemma is that the pool was moved, if I remember correctly, 54 feet. And that's what now puts it so that it is not in compliance with the setbacks.
Correct.
And so, frankly, I think we need a better explanation as to why it had to go that far.
What purpose does it serve to put in a site plan as to where the pool's going to go if you don't have to follow the site plan?
I have no answer for that. I mean, really, if we go back, this is not a matter of ask forgiveness instead of permission. This is how...
No, you file for a permit, we get that.
Right. I mean, it's a matter of there are a set of trees that the homeowner was telling us is on this property. Things have changed slightly in the past 10 years or so where, yes, we should all keep doing as-built or surveys or following them exactly, and we did not do that. You know, there's a set of trees that the homeowner is swearing to me are his. They are not his. You know, he planted these trees on his neighbor's property, and we measured from that line and said, oh, we're outside the 20 feet. This is how we always did it. It's not how we're going to continue to do it. You know, we have 30 years of me never standing here saying, wow, I really screwed up, but I screwed up.
Okay. I don't know that you can answer this, but when we got the survey, we also determined that the shed was not in compliance.
I don't know how I got linked into the shed.
I know, I don't either, but again, the survey came in and we had to address it because
Right.
otherwise
That's
it's
fine.
in
That's fine.
violation. Do you know anything about the shed, how old it is?
I do believe there is a survey that I initially used to put the pool in place.
Okay.
And then
Norma.
double,
Shed was my fault.
Oh, okay,
When they applied for the building permit for the addition,
yeah.
the shed had never been closed out. And
Okay.
the homeowner's husband was in China or something, and she asked me to measure with her where she thought her property line was.
Okay,
And I went back on GIS and I did the measurements aerially,
Okay.
through the aerial, and we thought it met. And not until we got this did we realize, but I issued the certificate of compliance on that shed.
okay, so the building department assisted in the determination of the location for that.
It was already
You're
in
off the hook on
place.
that one.
It was already in place, we just hadn't closed it out.
Okay. All right, so do you remember how long ago that was? I mean,
When they put the addition on, maybe 2 to 3 years ago.
okay,
I don't know how old the permit was before we closed it out, but it came up as a violation when they applied for the addition,
okay.
because they never closed it. And
the
she
sh-
needed to close that in order to get the addition.
And the shed is 12 foot by 16 foot, so it's not a small shed to try to
Right.
pick up and move.
Right.
All right, so I think our real big issue here is going to be the pool itself and the pool equipment. How difficult is it to move the equipment? Is there something around it that buffers the sound or it buffers the view of it?
if you look at it, well, you asked me two questions there. How difficult is it to move the equipment? In the grand scheme of things, not difficult at all compared to
Okay.
moving the pool. There are a series of very mature evergreens, very mature, I can't think of the name of what they are, but big evergreen trees that I believe the neighbor thinks is not theirs, which they actually are now, that
Okay.
nothing, you can see nothing from any part of
So
the...
there's vegetative screening already in
Oh, yeah,
place?
like huge.
That would
vegetative
buffer
screening.
the sound, and would buffer the view to the neighbors?
And not only that, it's probably 100 feet from the neighbor's house.
Okay. That's
towards the back
important
line.
for our review, so we appreciate that. Comments or questions from board members?
I don't have the updated survey.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Oh, we got it last month, but it wasn't on the agenda because he had to do noticing of these additional items. So,
I think an important part of that survey is where the neighbor's house is. It's much, much closer to the road, for what it's worth.
where the neighbor, it doesn't locate the neighbor's house, so that's why I had to ask the question.
Right.
Was it screened or not? There's a couple copies. All right, here's a copy for you. Two of them? You want one more?
Yeah, that's fine.
Two of them. That's okay, we're all right. Sometimes there's too many microphones and stuff like that to get. All right, and so, is the fire pit okay too, or do we have an issue with the fire pit?
That's within, because it's part of the patio.
Okay. Okay, I'm just double checking, let's get it done right. So the pool is now 20.4, which means it needs a 5-foot variance from the property line. I mean, we have to ask the question, can it get moved over? What is there between there and to its whichever direction? That's, if north is that way, so what's there and to the east?
Is it in the house?
More directly behind the house?
Best expansion.
I don't know what would be there.
Oh, that's in the back, that's the existing. It looks like
I mean, it looks like you've done all these patios all around it too, so
Yeah,
it's
but
not
they
just a
haven't
matter
put
of
it
moving the pool.
No, it's completely done.
There's-
You have to rip everything out and start
There's
over.
extensive.
I mean, this, I guess it was a survey showing the septic fields. It looks like it's in part of the septic.
Well, when I dug the pool, I didn't hit any septic. I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Yeah, looking at the two surveys, it seems that the pool is right on the septic field.
So obviously they're not aware of where their septic is.
Yeah, because you're looking at the house and.
Right, the other issue is, did we take care of the split rail fence? There's a split rail fence
No,
that encroaches on the
I
neighbor's
was waiting
property.
on what this decision was.
Okay.
Certainly, I'll have another as-built done. We were going to move the fence in.
I never got any of this. What is it? Is it the
split rail
pool fence?
encroaches on the western neighbor.
They didn't pay attention to where that angle is. That's probably the problem, what happened.
Right, if they thought their lot went straight back, they would have been
Yeah,
fine.
They did something wrong. Well,
So-
they didn't think it went straight back, but they didn't know the proper angle based on where the fence goes. So if you follow the line of the fence, they're probably close to 25 feet from the fence to the pool.
Right.
You're exactly right.
If the fence is only 4 feet in height, it can go right up to the property line. Anything beyond that has to be 2 feet in from the property line.
No, that's fine, but what
But it
Jim is
goes over the
saying
property
is
line.
if that fence is 4 or 5 feet out, they might have thought the fence, if they put the fence in, they probably thought that was
Well, the
their
fence is
property
for the
line.
pool area, right?
Yeah.
The fence
So
wasn't
the fence is
existing
new.
yeah.
What they were doing is using, as a reference point, a set of trees
Right.
that are not on their property.
Have they explored a lot line realignment with their neighbor?
I don't believe so, no.
Is that a possibility?
I don't know that answer. I mean, really, the reason I'm standing here is because I'm,
You installed the pool, yes.
I did, and I can walk away. I have no real, other than my own, I want to make this right.
Right.
Sense of integrity, yeah, okay. But that's a possibility. I mean, just change the, what would that be? The northwest corner point over 8 feet and straight
Yeah,
line?
if they can extend the lot line, then everything's fine. If they can move that lot line just a little bit,
Just follow the fence, basically, the split rail fence.
Well, the fence really, no one has any problem moving the fence in.
No, we're just, so you don't need a variance for the pool. We're not,
we're trying to
We're really avoiding
eliminate the
this.
need for variances.
Right.
The shed, you're probably still gonna need it, but we're trying to eliminate the need.
and we're trying to, because we've denied several of them for the reason that, the requirement's there and we're required to uphold the law unless there's a real hardship here. And look at, like you say, the practices become developed. So you stand here and I'm not doubting your integrity, okay, I made a mistake.
I think that's what we
Don't blame the owners, so. But then it becomes too easy for other people to say, well, you put it over there and you come in and say you did it.
I understand.
So we don't want to set any precedents for anything, so we would like them, I think, to explore the possibility of, making their backyard line, rear lot line 108 feet or something instead of 100 feet, whether their neighbor would go with that.
The adjacent neighbor on that side has a parcel that's 3.34 acres. This parcel is 1.35 acres. So there's probably room for the neighbor to do, if the neighbor's willing. We don't know, but before we can do anything, somebody has to have a conversation with that neighbor and see if they'd be willing to entertain a lot line realignment.
And the lot line would go along the fence, the existing fence, so it'd be just.
Or wherever
Or have
they
it-
want, as long as
basically,
it
yeah.
covers the 5 feet required for
Right,
the,
right.
all right? So before,
That would be a good thing to do.
you have to, at minimum, you have to explore it before this board acts.
Okay.
All right? It's in your best interest to explore it. So, any other comments or questions? Yeah, so is there anyone here to speak for or against the request of Joseph Picard, 53 Autumn Chase Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 5-foot sideline variance for an existing pool, a 15-foot sideline variance for existing pool equipment, and a 5-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 16-foot shed. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll see you next month. Give us an update by the 25th or so.
Okay.
All right, so that we know if there is a possibility that something's going to happen, then, you know, you'd have to go to the planning board to get it done. But
Right.
at least we would know and we could advise the neighbors.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You guys handed in the survey? I did. Okay, thank you. All right, item number 6, Appeal 3748, Milanese. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Matthew Milanese, 3489 Route 52, Stormville, is requesting a variance to allow a proposed 1,440 square foot garage to be built in front of his existing house, and a variance to the requirement that the garage cannot exceed 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the house, or 750 square feet, whichever is greater. The existing house is 780 square feet, as well as a 95-foot front line variance for a pre-existing 400 square foot detached garage pursuant to sections 194-107 and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so we did have a chance to review this with you last month.
Yep.
And we kind of walked through what the issues were.
Yep.
There's an existing structure in the front, oh, you have pictures for us?
I do have pictures.
Good job, okay. So there's an existing structure in the front of the house that you continue to use, and it's been there for quite a long time, based on what you've told us last month. So that's the garage in the front that you're asking that we
Yep.
consider giving the 95-foot variance.
Right.
Understanding that this is on a state road, and so the law as of, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe? Yeah, something around there, changed to require the front yard variance on state roads to be 100
Right.
feet. So when it was built, it was probably much less than that.
Okay.
You have pictures of that?
The back of the pictures are all numbered.
Okay,
I can
all
go
right.
through them with you.
All right.
You want to start with the garage in the front?
Okay.
The two pictures 1 through 5 are actually pictures. 1 through 4 are pictures from the road,
Okay.
from across the road, showing pretty much how secluded the house
Yes, we
is.
did ask you how visible was the
Right.
property, and you commented that
Yep.
at 55 miles an hour, people will see it for a second.
A
or
split
two.
second. Picture number 1, you could actually see the opening to the garage right
Okay.
there. And then picture number 2, as you're going by it, you can kind of see it.
But the focal point is on your house.
Right, right.
So that's fine, no problem.
And then, I know picture number 4 is blurry. Picture number 5 was taken from my front porch looking down at the road. And you can kind of see, I mean, it's pretty much tucked behind those trees there.
So this is the actual structure of the garage in the front?
In picture number 5, that's
wow.
the,
Okay.
that's, yeah, it's,
You haven't-
it's
I
small.
don't remember, do you remember how old this garage is? Okay,
I don't.
okay, that's fine.
You know what type of construction it is? Is it post
Block.
beam?
It's a block garage all the way up to the rafters, and then it's a wooden roof.
Oh, looking at this one with the red, that's
Yeah, that's-
number
Yeah,
5.
no,
It's on
yeah.
siding, or that's?
No, it's not, it was
It's
painted the
painted
same
black?
color as the old barn that I'm replacing.
Wow, it looks like a barn.
Right, yeah, from the distance, it looks
Okay,
way
all
worse
right.
closer.
Well, that's good, it's nice that it blends in better, it looks like a country estate there. All right, I'm not sure which way is up on this one. All right, picture 6. What am I
Picture number 6, you had asked me to go through and remove a wire fence. I had walked
okay.
up on the property line. I couldn't remember seeing one up there.
Okay.
What I think I figured out was my neighbor, actually Sean sitting here, he had an old plot plan from about 1975, which
Okay.
is exactly the same as mine, and I had the same guy come back and redo it to just
Okay.
put the
So is
proposed
this
building on
fence
there.
not yours?
It probably is, but it's not there anymore. I don't think he removed that from the survey when he did the whole
okay,
thing.
all right.
That's what the pictures are showing.
You're just showing a fence post.
This fence post in picture number 6 is actually on my property. That's remaining. Picture number 7 is the banner where my property line ends,
Okay.
looking uphill onto the neighbor's property. And you can actually see there's a bunch of brush there that's been pushed over. So if there was a fence, it's buried by brush that they've
Okay.
put in there. Picture 8, another fence post, which is what's left. There's no wire fence that I actually ripped out of the ground and took down the hill.
All right, that's fine.
9.
We don't care
again,
that fence posts are in the ground, right, Mary?
Nope.
That there's no fence actually attached to them?
Not really.
Just want to be sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
number 11 is probably the most accurate one, where actually it shows brush coming downhill onto my property, which, again, I'm not worried because it's biodegradable. It'll rot after time.
Right.
But that's approximately where the fence would be running behind on the uphill side of that tree. So I couldn't find any fence to be removed. I brought clippers into the woods with me.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for checking that out.
Yep. Another thing you had requested was usage plan for the interior space of the building.
Right.
Did I include that in the envelope?
No, just
Okay.
give us the elevations, you give us what it's going to look like,
I have a couple
and
there.
specifications.
Oops. So I have.
That's fine, no problem. Give us a can for the plan.
I
So
made,
it's a 3-bay garage.
right, I made the scale on this pretty much 1 foot for every square. So it's gonna be 40 feet across the front, 36 feet back, a workbench in the back area to work on anything that breaks, 2 cars, and boat and trailer storage.
All right, we appreciate it, thank you. That's fine.
The only thing, being nitpicky, your elevations don't match your garage doors on your hand drawing. You got 9 by 9 and 10 by 10.
Actually, this is not the exact building. This is actually something I got off of this company's website.
Okay.
Or no, I changed, I'm sorry, this is something that I did actually call on an estimate for.
That's okay. I
It's
just,
just
Yeah,
like you're swapping the garage
I had
doors,
changed
the
it
bigger
around.
one
I
there is in
mean,
the
there's a
middle.
couple of,
Yeah, but-
different doors that I,
9 by 9s.
figuring out where.
9 by 8s.
Yeah. I didn't really have a set plan on what size the doors were gonna be in which area, in which bay they were gonna be.
I was just being nitpicky because
Yeah.
I noticed it.
This was actually done springtime that I got this estimate, so things have changed since then.
Again, just remind me, you have the existing structure you're going to replace. That
It,
it?
right, it's not exactly in the same footprint, and it is slightly larger. It's about 240 square feet larger,
Okay.
because the old one was built up on a hill, and it was
And you
an
took
odd
that
shape.
one down less than a year
I
ago.
took that one down, because it was rotted and
Right.
falling down. I actually have pictures of that if you want.
No, that's fine,
Okay.
I'm just timing wise.
Okay.
You took that down less than a year ago.
Right, I
Yeah,
finished taking it
so-
down, yeah, about less
So
than a
there
year
really
ago.
was a structure there,
Right.
essentially in the place that you're looking, you're just shifting it just below.
Right, I wanted to shift it away from the house a little bit and then turn it for, I talked about in the future doing solar panels on the roof.
Okay, yeah, we had identified the fence to be removed, but you say it doesn't exist, so.
Yep.
I don't have that we, the board, had any additional issues. Any other questions or comments from board members?
I'm good.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against the request from Matthew Milanese, 3489 Route 52 Stormville, requesting a variance to allow a proposed 1,440 square foot garage to be rebuilt in front of his existing house, and a variance to the requirement that the garage cannot exceed 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the house, or 750 square feet, whichever is greater. By the way, we should put on the record that you're only exceeding it by 4 square feet.
For
The square footage of your garage you're,
It's 1,440 square feet.
Oh, it's 14, okay, but what you're allowed, right, Pam, the amount that he's allowed is...
60% of the square
Greater of.
feet.
Yeah, so I think it's, the amount that he's exceeding is very, very minimal.
Right.
So, all right, so, yeah, one of your neighbors?
Sean Curry, I'm probably his closest physical neighbor. No problem on my end.
Okay.
He's got 6 acres. He's done a great job since he's been there. He's cleaned up. Happy to have him as a neighbor.
Good, thank you. If you don't mind, Sean, could we have you sign in, please?
Oh.
On that table, there's a clipboard over there, just so we get the spelling of your name correct. Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up. Really, we appreciate, you guys know these sites better than we do, so that's why we appreciate hearing from neighbors.
I'm very partial, I'm Matthew's mom.
Oh, no bias whatsoever.
So I'm biased, I'm definitely biased. But I just want to say that what he's doing to the property is totally improving it. The barn that was there before, he had to take it down in order to get a mortgage because of safety issues.
Okay.
We took out 14, almost over 20 ton of garbage out of that barn. Household garbage, couches, TVs, everything. So it's been totally cleaned up.
Wow.
So I just want to speak for the fact that he is making major improvements on that piece of property. And it is very secluded as far as, and it's rural. And he's putting up a barn that's not too much bigger than what was there. So,
Thank you.
sign in.
Yes, please. Anybody else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this is appeal number 3748 for Matthew Milanese, located at 3489 Route 52 in Stormville. Resolution offered by zoning board member Barbara Barosa. Whereas the applicant has applied for a variance to allow a proposed 1,440 square foot garage to be rebuilt in front of his existing house, and a variance to the requirement that the garage cannot exceed 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the house, or 750 square feet, whichever is greater. The existing house is 780 square feet, as well as a 95-foot front line variance for a pre-existing 400 square foot detached garage pursuant to sections 194-121 and 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Whereas this action is a Type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on August 26, 2015, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on September 9, 2015, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the garage that is close to Route 52 has been there prior to zoning, and the proposed garage that is replacing a similar structure in a similar location. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the terrain and location of the existing driveway. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions, as one structure is already existing and the other one is similar to what had been existing. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Matthew Milanese for a 1,440 square foot garage to be rebuilt in front of his existing house, and a variance to the requirement that the garage cannot exceed 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the house, or 750 square feet, whichever is greater. The existing house is 780 square feet, as well as a 95-foot front line variance for a pre-existing 400 square foot detached garage, pursuant to sections 194-107 and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows, Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So your motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
Okay? Have a good evening.
Just have you sort of-
And make sure you thank Mom.
Yeah, it's only why you won. She doesn't need all of them.
No, I know. I
Just
gave her a
got
set
one.
already, so
Okay.
if you don't want to put them in there. All right, item number 7, Appeal 3749 Grimes, Scott and Liz Grimes, 79 Woodcrest Drive, Hopewell Junction, are requesting a variance to allow 54 feet of 6-foot fencing to be installed in front of the rear line of their house pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so last month we had the opportunity to review your application. You're located on a curve on Woodcrest. You have an existing pool in your side yard, the right side of your home, that you wish to just put some additional screening on, and so that's what you're looking for, the additional, the 54 feet of fence. You've indicated that either there's Rose and Sharon bushes there now, or you will be installing?
Once the fence is installed, then I'm going to put them in front of the
So
fence.
that would be even additional screening of the fence?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that we asked, what color fence are you looking to put up?
It's going to be, it's going to match the house. The house is gray with white trim,
Good.
so the fence is going to be white.
Okay, it's important for your neighbors to understand what color it's going to be. But again, just the way Woodcrest works, the way you're around the curve, it would just afford you significant privacy. People are allowed to have pools in their side yards, so, we're not disputing that. So the fence kind of makes sense there. We did talk about screening, but, in that case, you want to actually keep more people out of the pool, so.
Yes.
All right, questions or comments from board members?
I'm good.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Scott and Liz Grimes, 79 Woodcrest Drive, requesting a variance to allow 54 feet of 6-foot fencing to be installed in front of the rear line of the house? The only other thing I should add, by the way, is that you're proposing the fence will be in line with the front line of your house?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not actually
Well,
in
it's
your
going to go
front.
back a little bit. I'm going
Okay.
to angle it where it starts at the beginning, and it's going to be about 6 to 8 inches back towards the...
Good, so it's not like it's right on the road, it's
no.
it's in line with the
Our
house.
house is back about 60, 70 feet.
Right. All right, so seeing no comment, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Appeal number 3749, Scott and Liz Grimes. The project is 54 feet of 6-foot fencing to be installed in front of the rear line of their house pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Location is 79 Woodcrest Drive in Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by Zoning Board Member Mary Seminara. Whereas the applicant has applied for a variance to allow 54 feet of 6-foot fencing to be installed in front of the rear line of their house pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Whereas this is a Type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on August 26, 2015, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on September 9, 2015, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, the desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as the fencing will shield their pool from the road and landscaping will be planted in front of the fence to soften the look of it. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Scott and Liz Grimes for a variance to allow 54 feet of 6-foot fencing to be installed in front of the rear line of their house pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant/owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
Mary?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries. You're all set.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, have a good
Good
evening.
night.
All right, item number 8, the applicant is dealing with a medical issue, so we have a request. I was able to go and do a site visit, so I will report on that when we open the public hearing, so we get that on the record. All right, so item number 9, there's no more public hearings. At this point, we're...
Do we need to?
Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn.
No,
open
it's
the-
not.
Well, again, it's a public hearing.
But was it advertised?
It was.
It was advertised, but the applicant's not here. John, do we actually have to open it? We're going to advertise it again,
I know,
right?
but if it's been advertised for tonight, people have the right to come.
Yeah, if they're here, we gotta make sure nobody's here.
So I briefly inquire if anyone's here.
Do I have to open it to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we have before us a request from C. Earhart's 15 Ladue Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a variance to allow his recreational vehicle to be parked in front of the rear line of his house pursuant to Section 194-52.1 of the zoning ordinance. Understanding that the applicant is not here this evening, does anybody wish to offer comment? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn
Adjourn.
to next month?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So no re-advertisement.
Oh, it's just a turn.
No, now you
It's
don't.
adjourned.
Yeah, now you
So
don't
made your
have to
life easier.
advertise.
Yep. Well, copacetic.
Okay, item number 9, we're not going to review this evening because the applicant is before the planning board. Remember, if you'll remember, we got a survey that showed he had some issues, so this one is pursuing a lot line realignment. So we're going to let him do what he needs to do with the planning board. Item number 10, Appeal 3741 Rizzi. Francis Rizzi, 15 Cavello Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 5-foot sideline variance for an existing addition and a 23-foot front line variance for a 10-foot by 10-foot gazebo, which is located in front of the rear line of her home pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so you're going to have to take us through your request. So there's an existing addition on the house, right? When was the addition put up?
Correct. The addition was put up 31 or 33
Okay.
years ago.
Significant,
believe.
it's been there for a long time.
Been there for a long time.
Okay, so your neighbors are not likely to object to that. And obviously, it's probably going to match the house, right?
Pretty closely.
Okay, that's good. All right, so let's talk about this gazebo. How long has the gazebo been up?
Probably close to the same amount of time.
Okay. Oh, wait a second, we got a new survey on this one, didn't we?
Yes, there's a new
Okay,
survey.
and that's what we were, okay, sorry.
Okay.
The survey shows that there's a shed that's over the property line.
The shed is being taken down.
It is being taken down, or it is down?
No, it's over the property line now. In the next couple of months, it's actually being taken down. It's all rotted
Okay.
It's being removed.
completely.
It is
Not
your
yet.
shed, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good answer then. All right, well, let me just double check, I think there are some. Yeah, the shed over the property line was the only real issue that we had there. Okay. Any comments or questions from board members?
None good.
So the gazebo's been there, it appears to be 27.4 feet from the front property line?
That's a new
Yeah.
survey.
And
That's
then
what
is there a patio that then leads up the house, or?
No, no patio. There's some slate, just stones on it.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Right, but no actual permanent patio.
Okay.
And it's been there, you say 30 to 33 years?
Excuse me?
It's been there for 30-plus years?
The gazebo, probably close to that. I was a young kid, I don't remember exactly, but it was.
Well, you're
Is there
still a
sh-
young kid, aren't you?
It's got to be close to the same time.
Is there screening along Cavello Road, or can people driving by see it?
The whole front of the property is covered with evergreen trees that are about 40 feet tall,
Okay, so
so
that makes it difficult for anybody to be distracted by it and bothered by it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions from board members?
No, I'm good.
Oh, motion advertised?
So, yeah, motion to
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Pam will give you your instructions, because you have to
Okay.
put a sign up, and then next month we'll hold a public hearing.
Okay.
And just make sure nobody has any issue with it.
great.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next month.
Was there a building permit taken for the addition?
Huh?
Was there a building permit taken for the addition?
Mary, was there a building permit for the addition?
That's how this all came to light. She applied for a building permit after the fact.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
30 years later?
She's trying to clear up everything on
Oh,
the
understood.
property.
We understand, don't worry. Okay,
That
item,
might give us a timeline. for what
well,
we
thank
can
you.
do.
I didn't have that in my notes, so I should have asked that. All right, item number 11, Joseph Flick has actually pulled his application, so I need a motion from the board to refund him $70 of his application fee.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. All right, so that's done. So item number 12, Appeal 3751, Orange County Poughkeepsie Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. Orange County Poughkeepsie Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless is requesting a special permit for a commercial telecommunications antenna and a 4.5-foot by 8-foot equipment area to be located at the Stewart Shop, 551 State Route 82, Hopewell Junction, pursuant to Section 194-76 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Excuse
You're
me.
using, okay. We better get through this. All right, go ahead, take us through your application. This is the first we're seeing it, so.
Sure thing, thank you. Good evening. My name is Laura Baumier. I'm with the law firm of Young Summer in Albany. We represent Orange County Poughkeepsie Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless. On this application, I also have with me my colleague Gabrielle Ellsbury with Pyramid Network Services. They provide technical support on these applications. My client is seeking a special permit for a small cell wireless telecommunications facility. It's a small installation that would be placed on the roof of an existing Stewart's store at 551 State Route 82. That's near the intersection of Route 82, or at the intersection of Route 82 and Lake Walton Road.
Right.
The proposal is to place a wireless cantenna unit. It's about my height, about 5 feet or so in height, and then a cylindrical antenna at the top of the pole that's mounted to the roof of the building to provide a hotspot for cell coverage in that area. It's about 1,000 feet in all directions to take some of the strain off of our existing macro network. The large cell towers in the area are quite overloaded in this particular community. The Hopewell Junction Tower particularly is seeing some strain. So we're hoping that this small hotspot will help to draw some of that local traffic onto that particular antenna so that we can provide better service ultimately to our customers.
What color will it be? Please?
Okay. The cantenna.
If you can, please, closer to the microphone, just so we can pick it up.
The cantenna itself is a gray kind of slate color, but the cantenna is actually about 2 feet. The actual antenna itself. What we do is usually what we've been using, especially on these Stewart shops, is the ballast mount. So we haven't been doing any roof penetration if it is a straight roof, which most of them are. So with the stand and then the antenna on top of it, it does tend to be about 5 feet, but the antenna itself is about 2 feet. And we use the cinder blocks, so that adds about 2 on the bottom. But the color of it is the grayish kind of slate tone.
Isn't their roof a dark color? So wouldn't it, is there any way to have it match the roof so it blends in with the trees behind it?
Yep.
And
What we've been
becomes less
doing,
noticeable?
sometimes in some of our downtown historic areas is using it's a stealth chimney vent unit.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
it
different.
looks like one of the small chimney vents, and it just slides right over it. And we paint the color of the Stewart's brown or the Stewart's black on the roof.
I like that idea better.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
And for me, a picture tells 1,000 words.
Right.
So if you have some pictures when you come back in,
actually
you got
did
one
bring-
now?
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
got
did
one
bring
there.
some photos for you. So I apologize, I didn't bring copies for everyone.
That's all right.
but-
As long as we can have one for the file if anybody wants to check it out.
Sure, of
That's the
course.
important thing.
So I have with me a couple of things. I have some photos of the antennas on rooftops without the stealth concealment that
Right.
Gabrielle mentioned, and sort of what those look like from the distance and then up close. And then the last photo I'm going to show you is one of the Stewart's locations in, I believe, Johnstown, downtown in their historic district, that has a chimney concealment mechanism on it
Okay.
to sort of hide the...
Except that that chimney looks like it's red or something.
This one, the particular one is a brown or rust color.
Okay,
That was
all right.
That was the desire based on the surroundings of that.
That's fine.
Yeah, it would be a sewer.
Okay. Tell us about the little equipment area?
Sure.
That's not on the roof, that's on the ground next to Stewart's.
Sure, yes, that's on the ground. It's a 4.5-foot by 8-foot fenced equipment area that's behind the building.
Okay.
There's already some existing utility-type equipment on that part of the building, so it would be next to a great deal of that. It would be a fenced, enclosed, small area that would have some equipment cabinets inside of it. I actually have pictures of that, too.
Height of the fence?
The height of the fence, I believe, is, are we 5 at this one?
This is the site.
That one's under 4.5.
You know, you've got site plan for the application, right? It's the Stewart's. So we're adding something on the ground, I think should amend your site plan.
I believe it's 5 feet, but I can verify that for you
For how tall it is? Okay.
on the fence. I'm also, Gabrielle's going to hand you a picture of the equipment before the
This is
fence is
ugly,
installed.
sorry.
Sort of the nature of the business, but we can,
You can still, the chimney looks so much better.
it's
But
definitely.
darker would be better.
Yes.
So a
Right.
darker brown, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Barbara, you agree darker would be better?
I mean, just.
I mean, this one has a red brick building behind it, so I can understand why red would make sense there, but. Okay.
It's a pretty common thing, the manufacturer, I believe, puts the,
So all these things are part of the ground structure, or just,
Just that.
just the
Just the white.
tan-colored cabinet area, and then the cement pad.
yeah,
So if.
So
if
the
you don't-
other equipment's already existing?
That's-
The gray, dark gray box?
That's a photograph of a different location. It's just
Oh,
an
okay,
example
all
to
right.
show you what
Okay.
it would look like.
Got it.
This isn't
But
constructed
you
yet.
did say that there were other utilities in this area.
Yes, so if you look, the application packet that we submitted, I can go through the tabs quickly, but there's actually a tab at 12, you have some pretty extensive plans that
Right.
we've submitted, and at page C3, it shows you the existing utilities and infrastructure at the back of the building on the ground, and then the fenced
I
compound
was
next
asking
to it.
our council if this is going to require a site plan amendment for Stewart's. Are you before the planning board pursuing an amended site plan?
No, according to the town's code, the special permit that's authorized for this particular type of site, a wireless special permit, specifically exempts site plan review from
does,
being
it does.
necessary.
Okay,
It
that's
does,
fine.
there is a section that says that.
It's section 194-78, subsection A.
We as a board don't see cell towers very often, so
Sure,
we
of
need a
course.
refresher
But
when
that
they do
is-
come
That
in.
is part of the code.
That's fine, no problem.
So based on that, we
Are
believe
you
that.
eliminating any parking with this little area?
No.
No, okay. I don't generally go to this Stewart, so I'm not as familiar with this one. Is there, sometimes they have like some storage and stuff in the back there. Is that what's back in this area or no?
There,
You know, like their bread deliveries
Yeah,
and stuff,
well,
the empty trays and stuff they keep in the back,
Yeah,
things like
no,
that.
where this is located, it is completely out of the way of all of that. Where that overhang is on that same C3.
Right.
That's where they bring their large truck.
Okay.
Backs up, they bring the stuff. When we went on the walks, because we have multiple Stewarts, when we went on the walks with them, basically their only concern was making sure that their trucks had a clear right of way and we weren't near those to protect our equipment in there, so.
All right. How often does the equipment need to get checked, or how often do you have a truck there to?
this
No.
is generally,
Okay.
Yeah.
How often?
Just when we install it, which takes a couple days to do that. Other than that, if there's any type of issue, more like radio-wise, stuff like that, all the meter and everything that they need to check would be on the ground, but that's really it.
So they do a weekly, monthly? Yes.
generally our rule of thumb is that service technicians tend to go out to our other sites, usually other sites that have generators, but the rule of thumb is about once a month at most.
Okay.
And it would be during business hours, during the day, just to check things out. Unless there was an emergency or a technical malfunction, which hopefully wouldn't happen. So if the board would like, I can go through just quickly what we submitted to you, what information you have in front of you. I know it's a lot of paper.
Yeah, but we did get this last month, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to review it.
Okay, sure. In that
That's why I
case,
think the visual impact is going to be what your neighbors are going to be most concerned about, so. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Barbara?
The fenced area, are you going to put any, like, bollards or pillars just to prevent anyone from hitting it?
from hitting it, yes, I believe that there are bollards proposed in front of,
We saw one of the pictures they handed out.
That's over here.
It shows that there are bollards in front of Stewart's, but I don't see that there's bollards in front of the,
Yeah.
I think because of the way that the doors are structured on this one, there aren't bollards directly in front of
yeah,
it,
it
so
looks
that
like
we
you
can
have
get the doors.
reinforced
It looks
sides
like
on the fence.
what I thought was, there are grounding rods that are inside of the, they look sort of like a bollard, but they're grounding rods for the equipment.
Because I do get my gas here, and there's usually a lot of trucks in that area.
Sure.
So you might want to put something there just to prevent them from hitting it.
Okay, I'll talk to our engineering folks and ask them to add that. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to schedule this for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
For, what is it? October
13th.
13th? I can remember the date.
So I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Pam will give you your instructions for your sign. Stewart's is on a corner, so you need to put a sign on each street. Okay?
Certainly.
I don't know how long their frontage is, but one sign on each side, Pam, should be enough?
Should be.
Okay.
Should think so.
Okay, we'll see you next month. Yep, no problem.
Can you
We are down,
put your
and then
names
there
on
were-
here just so she
Could you please advise Steve to come back in? Sure. Mary had another obligation, so that she needs to run to, so we'll get Aziz back and. That worked out. Yes.
Thank you.
Got everything?
Okay, so item number 13, Appeal 3752, Sikowski, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Joseph and Marie Sikowski, 7 Quail Run, are requesting a 14-foot sideline variance for an existing 10-foot by 12-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Hello.
All right, so again, this is the first we're seeing your application. If you don't mind, if you could tell us when did the shed go up, so we can understand how long it's been there.
Well, it's probably more than 20 years.
More than 20 years, okay. Were you the ones that were responsible for putting it up? Did you put up the shed?
Yes, yes.
You did, okay. Are there two sheds side by side?
No, one,
One in front of the other. There's a smaller one behind it.
But there are two sheds?
yes.
Okay, they both, the way that looks on your survey, they both need the variance. Not just one shed needs a variance, but they both need the variance. Because just the side that ends up being the long side is where the, your side yard is, that's, so they both need the variance, not just one. So what is the size of the other shed?
The other one's about a
12
8 by 8.
Okay, so Pam, we need to correct,
Do they need a permit for a second shed? They get one without?
They need a permit for the second one, but we can't grant it without the variance.
So, okay.
and they've been there for 20 years. Is there screening behind it between where the sheds are and your side yard there? Is there anything there?
No.
That blocks it from your neighbors? There's no trees or anything like that?
Well, they've got a 6-foot fence, stockade fence.
Oh, okay, all right. That certainly helps.
Blocks
Okay.
most of it.
And what color are these? Do they match your house?
Matches,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Aside from adding the second shed on, for an existing 10-foot by 12-foot and existing 8-foot by 8-foot. Okay. Any other questions or comments from board members?
No, I'm good.
Motion for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so Pam will give you your instructions, because you got to put a sign on your front yard, and then we'll see you next month.
Okay.
And we'll have an opportunity for your neighbors to come, like you heard earlier on this evening. Okay? We'll see you next month. Okay, item number 14, Appeal 3753. Cyan? Wow, pronounce it for me. Cyan, okay. Ann P. Cyan, 624 South Hillside Road, Wappingers Falls, is requesting a 3-foot rear line variance for a proposed 10-foot by 20-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Okay, so you don't have a shed up yet.
Actually, I do.
Oh!
Because I was told Mary
Yes.
came to inspect
Okay.
the property before the shed went up. I was
Okay.
purchasing the shed secondhand at Amish shed, so it's a movable shed.
Okay.
I was purchasing it secondhand. It was a yard sale deal.
Oh, that's right, Mary did mention that
Great
to me.
deal.
Okay.
Mary came out, there was a existing shed on the property. The property is an L-shaped. It actually was 2 lots, and when I first came in, I was told that I needed to combine the 2 lots so that
Right.
it would have a house on it. So I did that in Poughkeepsie. I didn't want to lose the shed, so Mary asked her supervisor
Right.
that it was allowed. So I have a letter for me to be able to place it. I did initially want to put it in front of the other shed facing the Highland, and it would have been 35 feet away from the front, but Mary's boss said they'd rather have it behind the smaller shed. So we did put gravel there, and that's where I placed it. It's 27 feet from my back line of the lot, and my neighbor is happy with that. There's plenty of trees behind it. And because of it being an L shape, that side is 50 feet wide, so it'd be very hard to get it much more into the middle of the yard, and this way I couldn't drive in front of it, and also would be very close to the other neighbor who's on the corner of Beatrice. And I had both the neighbors, originally I had wrote the letter as to having it in front of the other shed, but then once Mary said that her boss said to do it behind it, I did. And then I have both Beatrice and Daniel wrote a little note underneath the letter that I did.
All right, good, thank you. Yeah, you have, even though you have the benefit of 2 lots, they are both long and narrow lots.
Yes.
And they form the L, as you mentioned, with another neighbor owning the lot in the middle of that L.
Yeah, so I have 3 neighbors.
So you don't have a whole lot of other options there.
Exactly.
And Hillside Lake, the lots are smaller than
Very small,
most
yes.
of the other lots in town. So again, your options are extremely limited here.
And it's
so.
very good-looking Amish shed. It's white with black trim and new roof on it, and it's sided also, wooden with siding.
Does it match your house, or does it?
My house is actually cream, so it's very close.
Okay. Okay. Comments or questions from board members?
I was looking at the L-shaped property that you have. I mean, it says that there are like 3 lots that were combined?
No, it was 2.
Because
the
it's like
corner,
913, 910, and 921.
No, 910 is for the lot next to it.
the
that's the
923 is
square?
some...
Oh, okay, I was confused. Okay, I'm
Oh, yeah,
good.
there's 2 numbers on that. I don't know why.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm
Square
good.
lot is weird.
Yeah, it's a square lot. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like confused about that, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, no problem. Okay,
Any other
I'm good,
questions?
I'm good.
Public hearing?
Motion to advertise?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll see you next month, and we'll give you your instructions for your...
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you have frontage on 2 streets here. So you're gonna need, you have frontage on 2 streets. You're gonna need, especially since the shed is gonna be on that second lot, that front's on the second street, so you're gonna need 2 signs.
2 signs, okay.
All right? Yeah, we gotta make sure your neighbors are aware of it,
Yes.
okay? We'll see you next month. All right, item number 15, Appeal 3754, Crocco, Edward and Catherine Crocco, 18 Lennart Place, Hopewell Junction, are requesting a 6-foot sideline variance for a proposed 24-foot by 34-foot carport and a 46-square-foot size variance. Carport is 816 square feet, and footprint of existing house is 1152, pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm partially deaf, so.
Okay, no problem. So this is the first time we're seeing your application.
Right.
Okay? You're asking for a carport, but you're going to store a motor vehicle or a car or something in it?
Basically in the wintertime mainly, or even in the summertime, the vehicles would be underneath the carport.
Okay.
And when I was looking at, when I saw the paperwork today when I got here, I was sitting there saying, the overhangs of the carport, do you have this picture?
Yes, we got it.
Okay. The overhang of the carport, from footing to footing, it's really only 16 feet, but the overhang brings you out to 24.
Okay.
And that was what was on my
We have to
mind.
go by the 24.
Okay, so you're going by the over, okay, just
Yes.
verifying on that, okay?
That's fine. So your house, we estimated had a 28-foot by 45-foot footprint,
50 foot.
28 by 50 feet? Okay, that increases the size then. Okay, there's an issue with your pool. Mary, you were going to try to resolve that, Mary?
I'm sorry?
The building inspector signed off on it. I don't know
Oh, okay,
why or how,
so it's
but
not an issue anymore?
I guess not.
Okay, all right, no problem.
What was that? I
There
didn't
was
hear-
an issue with your pool that the building department
Well,
wanted to
The
resolve.
situation with the pool,
Yeah,
that was probably 4 or 5 years ago when I had a deck. I found out that they were saying my pool never had an inspection.
okay,
And I was the third owner
okay.
by the time that came about. It did cost me money to get it so I can get,
Cleaned up, okay.
but,
Okay.
yeah, I had, there was 2 other people in front of me, which is kind of weird on that.
Okay, so because he's going to store vehicles in this, we're treating this as if it's a garage, because in essence, it is a garage. It's just not completely
it's
sided.
open, yeah.
Right, it's an open garage.
So we're going to advertise it as a garage or a garage slash
Well,
carport?
The carport's not really defined in our
Right.
code. That was our issue, so
Right.
John, are we better off advertising it as a garage?
I think so.
Or you could
Well,
do
we
it.
can
we
say
choose
carport,
garage slash
carport,
Why don't we do that, so people have the
Yeah.
flavor?
carport slash garage, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that,
Why
Pam.
don't we do carport as garage?
Yes. All right, this way, the code addresses garages, okay, and you're storing motor vehicles in there, so we're going to call it the garage to meet with the code, but we'll also identify it as a carport so your neighbors know it's not fully enclosed.
Okay, so question though, if it's considered a garage, if I eventually close it in, I mean, that's still part of, I'm not saying I'm doing that, but I'm saying if you,
Actually, that was the comment I'm going to make. I wouldn't be surprised at some point
Right,
whether
if it
this
does
gets
get-
enclosed.
1 year down the road.
Is
we're
there an
planning
issue
on,
with
we're
the-
planning on leaving it open, but I'm like, if it's a,
If you
If
just
we're
put
calling
sign,
it a garage, then it
Yeah,
doesn't
you're-
matter.
Hope you
Doesn't matter, okay.
You'll be okay,
okay.
okay?
So it's safer to do it that way.
At least I know there's an option if that happens. Wasn't going.
walls? I don't know, because it's not really structural. I'm just trying to think if he
Well,
would really
it's
need
got a roof, so you're going to have structural issues, you got to
no,
deal with that.
if you put side,
Just to enclose it, I mean. Once the structure is built, all of the structural members
Right.
are going to be in place, and he would just be enclosing it, so I'm not so sure, I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
don't think
whether
you
a
need a
permit would
building
be
permit.
required or not.
Right. You probably don't need
Later
a
on.
building, when you're ready to, if at some point you're ready to enclose it, then just check with the building department just to be sure whether you'll need a permit or not. Okay?
What do you mean, enclosed?
To enclose
If
it.
you
Yeah,
enclose it.
that's not the plan, okay? The
Right.
plan is it looks very close to what this is, and we're gonna, the side, closing in the side, will be the side facing the neighbor, and she's very happy that it's kind of, that she has a pool there, kind of gonna block her,
Okay.
and give her a little more privacy, so.
What is the finish on your house? Does that match your house?
No, this is more of a cedar, okay? Kind of more rustic looking. I have vinyl siding on the house,
Okay.
but I think it'll
What
look,
color vinyl siding?
a clay.
Okay.
So it's a
So
little,
so
you
it'll-
know, it's
yeah,
close.
It'll blend, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And how close is this to your neighbor? Where is your neighbor's house? How close is your neighbor's house to,
Well, it'll be 6 feet from the property line,
okay?
and there, probably another 30 feet to where the house starts.
Okay.
Okay, give or take, I didn't physically measure that. but, yeah.
Do other neighbors in your neighborhood have an additional garage
No.
close to their property line?
There is one down the block, but I don't know how close he is to the property line, but he has an additional garage alongside his house.
Okay, so we'll be curious to see what comments your neighbors have, you know, whether they're in support of this. If you can get any letters from your neighbors, that would be helpful.
Okay, well, the neighbor that this will go right next to.
Right.
A few years back, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were gonna move in with us. We were gonna put a two-car garage. I got a variance for that.
Okay.
And we never did anything with it. So it's the same neighbor. She's approved. She
Okay.
said she'll give me a letter, she'll come, whatever it may be.
Okay, no problem. It just helps us to know whether your neighbors have any
Yeah,
opinions.
she's the one right next door that'll be impacted the most.
Okay.
Is this worded correctly? This 6-foot sideline variance, you actually want to be 6 feet away from your property line?
Yeah, well, that's actually where my driveway ends right now, 6 feet
It
from the
doesn't have a
property line.
6-foot sideline variance, you must be 6 feet away.
Hold on, let's double check this.
That's the minimum I'm gonna be. I may be a little bit more than that, but
Well, whatever, if we...
Are you going to be 6 feet
Yeah, right
from your
here.
property line?
6 feet from the
Or
property.
19 feet?
6 feet.
So he needs a 19-foot variance.
Variance, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that's,
Because when he just said that, he's going to be 6 feet then.
yeah, he does say 6 feet on the front of his application, but he wants to be 6 feet away.
Yeah,
Okay, so we got to change that to 19.
thank you.
He needs a 19-foot variance.
Can you move it over? Can you get away a little bit more? Is that what you're saying? What do you,
Right, can you-
I'm sorry. You said that's the minimum what you need? Where exactly do you want, how far away from your property line do you want to be? Do you know?
Right here. He's just
I
extending.
just saw that.
6 feet is where my driveway's like this. That's where my driveway ends on the property line.
Yep.
So we're talking about going from the edge of that property line.
Not to know the edge of the driveway.
What?
You're going to start from the edge of the driveway.
Right, more or less, I'm following the edge of the neighbor side of my driveway and then
Well, you have to understand, you can't give us more or less. You have to tell us what you want.
6 feet.
You want to be
And
6 feet from your property line.
But lining it up with the driveway, with the edge of the driveway.
Well, I mean, you can't get closer than 6 feet, that's, we'll give you a 19-foot variance.
Right.
You gotta be precise as to where you, I mean, if you go 8 feet away, we're not gonna worry about it, but if you're 5 feet away and you put up the structure, you're in
Understand,
trouble.
I understand, yes, agreed. Yeah, 6 feet is my minimum I will be from the property line.
So what's the,
Minimum.
what's the total footprint of this carport? Is it 24 by 34 or
The
24 by 34 or what?
Yeah, that's counting the overhangs.
Okay, including overhang.
Which on a typical house, you don't count overhangs, that's why, when I did it thinking that's what it should be, but we rethought myself tonight. So
Okay.
Okay, how many sheds do you have on your property?
I have 2.
You have 2?
He has a permit for one.
You have he has a permit. What are the sizes of the 2 sheds? What size are they?
One is 12 by 18, I think.
Okay.
And then the other one is 10 by 10, 10 by 11, with a wood shed right off of it. But
Okay.
He has a shed, and then he
With a wood shed off of
has
it.
a roof and a side, and then the
So
side
kind
of
of
the
like a lean-to on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's
So,
storing things in there.
But they're not showing up on the survey.
I know, the only one that's
So-
showing on the survey, it says
Wood.
metal, but it's not even. They're both wooden.
Mr. Conco, can you show us where on your property these sheds are? Where are they? Because we need to be certain whether you need a variance or not for the sheds.
This is.
That's one here?
That's one shed,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, and the other one was built in.
Go ahead,
Off the property
go ahead,
line.
you can draw it.
Off the property line back here.
So this is the big one,
That's the big one.
and this is the little one.
And this one has a wood shed off of it.
Has
Just-
like a
yeah,
lean-to on it, okay. So, do we
That
know
was existing
how
when we
far,
moved
Okay, you didn't put that up, that's
Did not put
helpful.
that up, But it's more than 25 feet.
That's what I need to know, thank you. Okay, so we're okay variance-wise?
As long as it's 25 feet, yes.
Right.
But
Can you get it for the next meeting? Can you please get us a measurement of how far off the property line both sheds are?
and how big the
All right, I
second
need
one
this
is?
measurement and this one.
That one I built.
He had a permit for one of them, it's,
You had a
12 by 20.
permit for one of these sheds?
a 12 by
Okay, so
20
he has a
shed.
permit for the big one? Okay,
I need the size of the other one, but I think we have to include the lean-to in it, right?
yeah. Okay, all right, so if you can get this measurement, just so we're clear, if it's less than 25 feet, please let Pam know immediately.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I
But
mean,
any
I'll
union,
measure for sure, because I know the pool is.
But he has a permit for that one, so it probably would have been.
no, he has a permit for the big one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
He
that's what I
doesn't
thought.
have a
original-
permit for the
original one
little
was
one
there
with the
when I bought
lean-to.
that. Okay.
And that, so,
And the lean-to, I put the wood shed right off.
Okay. Motion to advertise?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unfortunately, you have to wait for Pam to get back. Can you wait a minute or two, and she'll give you your instructions for your sign? Okay? Thank you, we'll see you next month.
Okay. So on the 13th.
Yes.
13.
Okay, item number 16, last but not least. Item 3755, Navarro. Michael Navarro, 64 Nathan Hale Drive, Stormville, is requesting a 25-foot rear line variance for a proposed 25-foot by 34-foot, 883 square foot detached garage pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. So again, this is the first time we're seeing your application. If you don't mind, just take us through what your use of it's going to be, why you need it in this area.
Well, on the survey that we've given you, that shows a garage.
Okay?
We already have a building and renovation permit to turn that garage and an addition on, that'll be 16 feet back from that garage into an apartment.
Okay.
So we wanted the new garage in the back to have a garage on the property now.
And you have a driveway that already exists that goes back to it?
Yes.
Okay. Where it says new driveway, that already exists.
Yeah.
What's behind there? Is your neighbor in the rear going to see this?
It's wooded between our properties. They would see it a little bit, but it is pretty wooded back there.
20 feet of woods, 50 feet of woods,
I'd say about 15 feet of woods.
15?
15 or 20. Is it?
How tall a structure is this going to be?
I think it's more like 40 feet.
40?
40
Okay.
feet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Tall
10?
structure.
10 feet?
Is
yeah.
it one story, one and
Yeah,
a half
one story.
stories?
12 feet high.
Okay, that's fine,
highest
just
point,
sometimes people ask for 1.5 stories, and then we have to make sure
Oh,
what's
no,
the
it's one
second
story.
story going to be used for.
It's just a store.
What's the proposed finish of it?
I would match our house and current garage. That will now be the addition. It's a gray vinyl siding.
Okay. I'm seeing a shed in the back.
Yes.
All right, we have a bunch of issues on this one. There's no permits for the pool. You have a pool on the property?
Yes.
The pool deck, the cabana, or the shed that are shown on this, we don't have permits for.
You
And
know
the
how
shed
old
is
these-
right up to the property line, so that would need a
Do we
variance.
know how old any of this stuff is? Who put it in?
The shed is over 20 years old.
Okay.
And if there's a problem, that can come down.
Come down or you can move it.
Yeah, well, it's not really worth moving. It's-
Okay.
So come down then.
Then come down
Yeah,
is the
it's
right
worth coming
answer.
down, yeah.
Okay.
And the pool, when we moved there, we just put it up. You're right, there's no...
How long ago?
But that's over 20 years, and that's ready to come down too.
But there's no permit.
Well, you have to
Okay,
make
so
a
you're-
decision
so-
what you want to do.
Yeah,
No,
are you
it's
going to
ready-
take it down?
Yeah, we're ready to take it down.
What about the
Oh,
deck
okay.
leading to the pool?
Yeah, the deck to the pool and a cabana?
The cabana is, it's a deck on the ground, and it's just...
It's a patio?
No, it's a wooden...
It's a wooden deck, okay.
deck with a gazebo type thing on it.
It's got a roof on it?
No, it's a canvas.
It's a
Okay,
cloth.
but there's no permit to build it.
Oh,
You
wait
have
a
no
minute,
permit to build it,
cloth?
right?
Yeah.
What?
Is it one of the ones that you take down in the winter, or?
The roof always comes off. but it's just a thin metal frame.
Temporary structure.
So it's like a,
But the
It's one of
deck,
those,
like a tent
I think it's one of
platform or
those things that
something,
you get
and
at Home
you
Depot and just put out.
yeah, no, that's
It's a
fine, but
little
there's
platform.
you said it's a wooden deck.
It's on the ground, it's not even
It's
considered.
not-
How high off the ground is it?
It's not, it's right on the ground. It's just
It would be
sitting
like
on
a
some-
patio,
it's sitting
and then
on
they
some
just put
blocks.
this up.
All right, so you're okay with it?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
so
So the deck.
the deck for the pool we're focusing on now.
So the pool you're gonna take down,
Yes, and the
the pool you're
shed,
take down, and the shed you're gonna take down.
yes.
And
the
then
deck-
Mary's okay that the cabana, this roof on it's temporary, so we're okay with that. And the pool deck, you're saying, she's treating it like a patio, so we'll be.
No, no,
okay.
not the pool deck, the cabana deck.
What's the difference?
Where the cabana, because
There are
look, you have
different places,
the deck
Oh,
on the back of the house.
Yeah,
They had, I think, a 10 by 10 that was built with the house, and then they have a building permit, I think it's for an 8 by 8 addition to that deck,
addition to the deck or addition to the house?
to the deck. They expanded the deck at some
Okay.
point. Now, I'm not seeing on here, but
But they got.
All right, we're not
permission?
gonna be able to do a public hearing until we're clear that you have no violations on your property. All
okay,
right?
the deck, they have a deck, they added to the deck on the existing house and got a C, it says open, no, they had a CO for that in 1991. So this part is okay, but then they have another deck attached to that deck that goes to the pool.
Okay,
That deck, the pool, and the pool don't have permits.
okay.
Do you understand what she's referring to?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
So when you take the pool down, are you taking the additional deck down as well, or are you gonna wanna keep that deck?
Well, I'm not sure, we would kind of reconfigure it, it might come lower, so.
We're gonna reconfigure it.
Permit
take it
would be
down,
required.
And start over. Because you're gonna have to get a permit one way or the other. If you're gonna keep it up, you're gonna have to get a permit, they're gonna have to do the inspection.
And then
make
it's
sure
an
everything's okay.
as-built permit as opposed to getting a permit before you build a new deck.
Okay, so I can leave the footings kind of where they are? and just
Well,
take the
speak with
deck
them
out?
when you go in and apply.
That's gonna be a problem because the footings were never inspected,
Yeah,
so
the
you're gonna have to dig one up anyway so that we can verify the depth of it.
It's fine.
All right, we're gonna need you to deal with the building department to make sure all of these issues are resolved. How quickly would we need to advertise for the October 13th meeting? Okay, so actually you have 10 days. You have 10 days to resolve this. Can you get to the building department in the next week and a half?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he has to remove the shed and either get permits for the pool or remove it, and then that shed,
Right.
if he doesn't remove it, it's gonna have to be advertised for a variance too.
Right, so you're gonna take down the shed and the pool quickly? Before October 13th?
Yeah, if I have to, yeah.
Before September 23rd.
Before September 23rd, before it's advertised?
Well, you can advertise
Well,
it,
as
and
long
then
as
just not
it-
hear it if he didn't
Yeah.
do it
Right,
by
just
the
so we can get
13th, I guess.
Yeah, so we could go ahead and.
All right, so Mary, what was the July 30th, 2015 permit? For an
That was for the-
addition?
2000, that was the part of the deck?
Because no, that was for
Oh,
an
no, that was for
addition.
the addition on the garage.
And so
For
the
the
question we
accessory
had is
unit.
when that you got a permit in July for an addition, when are you gonna finish this addition? Because you need the CO for the addition to qualify for the additional square footage to get the detached garage.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Hopefully, end of October.
I mean, you can grant the variance, we just won't issue the building permit until,
okay, I thought we needed to have one finished. Are you planning to build this garage this year?
It's underway right now.
no, not,
No,
not,
not the.
No, no, no,
Oh,
the garage.
If time allots it, for winter, yeah.
Understand what we're saying? If he
I
doesn't
understand.
finish the house, finish the addition, he needs, the variance or the adjustment for the size of the garage is greater. So, do we have to
well,
worry
can
about a
you grant the
CO?
variance, and then once the CO is granted for that, then the size will be all right? You know what I mean?
We make it subject to the completion of the.
Well, we're just
of the
granting
addition.
a
And just not issue the
variance,
building
not
permit
granting
for it until
for
the
the
other one is
size.
finished, right?
We have to worry about the 60%.
I know, well, we don't yet. If they don't finish it and they go for a building permit.
Right, that's it, thank you. They need that, they need the finish to get the permit. That's
Yeah.
what it's gonna be.
Right.
So we'd be okay, thank you, Jim. We'll be okay, but you can't pull the permit for the garage until your addition is finished. Because then
And
you're not in
CO'd.
compliance with the requirement of the size of the detached garage.
The paperwork will start?
Yeah, you can start it
Okay.
as long as, but, so we would, assuming your neighbors and, we have no objection, we don't hear any major objection from your neighbors, it's gonna be a little bit of a timing issue, but it sounds like it's workable. All right, any other questions from any board members?
So basically, in the next 10, 15 days or 20 days or whatever, yeah, you're gonna have the pool removed and the shed removed. Okay, and then you're gonna make sure that we advertise it accordingly. So-
And he's gonna file for, no, he doesn't need a, he's gonna figure out what he's gonna do about the deck and whether he needs
Yeah,
a
the
permit
deck
or not.
portion. Yeah.
Okay?
There'll be only one issue left, I mean, then
Right.
that's fine with me.
Okay, so is that a motion to advertise?
No,
Motion to advertise.
yeah.
No, hold on, go ahead.
Why this location? I mean, it is all the way in the back. You're going to have a driveway that goes from one end to all the way to the back of your property. I mean, closer to the existing.
Why no other option? What's
if
in
we-
between? You say there's a rain garden, but what else is there?
Well, we would need to have the front of the garage paved so you'd be able to pull into it.
But off of the existing driveway, like maybe in this area here. I mean, there's nowhere even in this area. You don't have, so you don't have to go all the way back. In this area here.
Is that the septic field?
I mean, you have 51 feet to that corner, so it looks, you have quite a bit of, if it was turned and put here.
No, because the septic fields are right.
The septic, okay.
If it can't be put here, this is easy access, drive right in. It would
But what
have
about
to-
even closer?
It
So
would have
it's,
to go here, and it would have to be able to turn this way into it.
but even here, you would still be,
Yeah, but...
We thought that would be less intrusive on our neighbors to have us pull straight in than have the garage bays facing their property.
But again, what's in between, in the rain garden, on either side of the rain garden, what is that area? It looks like you've got a rectangle, from between the addition and the rain garden, you've got one rectangle, and then from between the rain garden and the new garage, you've got another rectangle. Why can't it be moved up closer to the rain garden?
There's 3 rain gardens, do you see that?
Yeah,
Each
but-
one of those rectangles say rain
It would be
garden.
a very sharp left-hand turn to go into the...
but it looks like it's a sharp turn now.
Anyway, right.
No, you wouldn't be able to pull into the front of the garage if it was any closer to the existing, or the proposed
Where is
addition.
the front of the garage? Maybe that would help. I'm thinking.
It's facing the addition.
The bay's open towards the
Oh,
addition.
okay, I'm thinking it was
That's why they
facing the
can't
words
close.
that say 32 feet.
No,
Oh, yeah,
these are
that's
the
what I thought
doorways.
this was
That's
in
what
the front.
throws it off.
They're trying to make it more aesthetic from the neighbor. They don't see
Yeah.
into the garage.
Okay, so the opening is less intrusive on the neighbor because it's really more in the middle of your property.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to see it from the road or anything.
Okay.
So you'd go into your rain garden area and then turn?
Yep.
There's a little more room than there seems to be on that page. It's closer to the addition, that ring garden.
All right,
Motion to advertise.
Happy now?
second. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I thought you were making a statement.
All right, so we'll see you next month. Pam will give you your instructions for your sign. All right, then we'll just see what your neighbors say. But please, please, please get your permits resolved.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
So,
in
second,
favor,
third,
aye.
whatever, all in favor?
Aye.